Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Civilization episode. My name is Legend Ronnie and we are continuing our Commander Spotlight series. Today the luckiest winner is Frederick. We are going to talk about him. I'm trying to explain to you as much as I can about Frederick and try to advise you the best way I can how you could use your Frederick. So let me get into the game. First thing you should know about Frederick, that he is a legendary commander and his skills are going to be a little bit harder to upgrade than an epic commander. So his sculptures, they are not very easy to obtain into the game. In order to summon Frederick, you need 10 sculptures. Once him out, you're going to unlock his expertise, Furious Barbarossa, which is going to be a pretty cool skill. Right. So that is about his sculpture. His skills, the main one you should be interested in is his first skill. His first skill is pretty good. And then he's going to have his second skill, but it's every 5 seconds, so it's so and so. But the last one, another 15% troops capacity. In the lower level, it might not mean that much, but in the higher levels, when you can take out like 200,000 troops, another 15%, that's another 13,000 troops. So that is pretty significant. Leaders will have a very significant role in the end game, because the amount of troops does make a difference in the groups. So that is a lot of he says here that he is a siege commander, so that will help him do another 10% damage if you max it out when you attack other governor city. So, and again, it's going to be your own choice if you want to use him as a main commander. My personal advice would be that he should always be a secondary commander. Now let's see who would be the best pair for Frederick. I would say that he has a very limited amount of commanders that he is going to be very good with. And my personal advice where I would use Frederick would be in full archers setups. And that is what is going to bring us Iseong-ji. If you look at Iseong-ji's second skill, it says that increase the archer's attack by a percentage. So that means that Iseong-ji's second skill can boost Barbarossa first skill. Obviously, if that is going to go in, it's going to boost Barbarossa first, which is the first skill of Frederick, is going to boost it and double it in damage. So the amount of damage archers will do is going to be tremendous. Not to mention with the fourth skill that you can bring more troops into the battle. So Frederick and Iseong-ji, they can work very nice together. Frederick can work with Kusunoki as well for this particular purpose as well, for maximum archers, to do maximum damage with the archers. He can also work with Hermann for the same particular reason, just to boost the archers. But if you want to use Frederick with mixture of troops, Frederick can work with Boudica for mixture of troops, can work with Charles Martel for mixture of troops, can even work with Scipio for mixture of troops, can work with Julius Caesar for mixture of troops, can work with Joan of Arc for mixture of troops. But again, I would advise him to be the secondary commander, and Joan of Arc is also considered a secondary commander, so this is going to be a 50-50, like if he's going to work with Joan of Arc. Maybe you should put him at main commander only with Joan of Arc. Frederick can work with Richard, and with Richard would be the purpose of sieging. So if you actually want to use Frederick in siege or attacking the city, you can use him with Richard. The reason is because they both have heal, and is going to help Richard maintain the amount of troops because of the double heal, and Richard also has his fourth skill, which is going to help a lot, and has a little bit of defense as well. So Frederick in terms of sieging can work very nice with Frederick, and can work with Julius Caesar in terms of sieging. So that would be, as I mentioned, a pretty limited amount of usability for Frederick. Frederick can work with Eulogy Mundok if it comes to mixture of troops. So if you want to mix the troops, have a bit of everything, then it can also work with Eulogy Mundok. As I mentioned, the amount of usability for Frederick is pretty limited because of his skills. But the best pair that he would make would be with Lee Seong-gi on full archers. This would be my personal advice. Or Kusunoki with full archers. I would say that this would make the best pair. Other pairs that I mentioned, other pair of commanders, they are viable options or viable combinations, but will not excel like the top of the spear. Right, so I did show you about his talents, but as I mentioned, I prefer him as a secondary commander rather than using him as a main commander. Now, where would Frederick excel in? I would say that he is very good in PvP. Obviously, barbarians, there is no doubt in that. Any commander is good in killing barbarians. PvP, PvE, and when you do PvP, I'm sorry, when you try to fight other players, he is a nuker, and I mentioned this in every single video. Try to avoid taking direct damage. So you should not fight one-on-one with Frederick. I would rather have a tanker go in before you want to go in with Frederick. So you should not be the direct damage involved. You should be the one that dish out from the side, you know, attack from the rear or attack from the back. If your options are really limited, Frederick can make a combination with Pelagius, and you could go like full cavalry, but there are other cavalry commanders that are much better for this particular task. But if you like really don't have any other options, they could work for full cavalry, Pelagius and Frederick. And as I mentioned, for sieging, I already told you the setup. Frederick can work very nice with Richard or with Julius Caesar. For sieging, can also work with Scipio. I actually forgot about him. Or can also make a very nice pair with Charles Martel. But I would not really use Frederick with Charles Martel for siege. But they could make a pair for PvP if you actually want. Because Charles Martel is not just protect your troops, but it also grants 30% damage, increase to your troops. And if Frederick is going to use his main skill, which increase the static damage of the troops by 800 plus 30% from Charles Martel, that could be a tremendous amount of damage. But as I mentioned, I would say that his top of the spear would be in full archer setup, and he should be the secondary commander. So I hope you find this helpful about Frederick. That's how I would personally use him. So until next time, this is Legend Ronnie, and I bid you farewell. See you later, alligator.